Hey guys, Eric here, Florida High Performance. Welcome back to the YouTube channel. It's been a while. We've got a doozy for you today. It's Lid Test 2.0. I know you've all been waiting for this moment. I've got my ZL1 behind us here. Bad Punkin, of course, my 2019 ZL1 1LE. Now, what's different about this lid test from the first version of the lid test is this vehicle behind me. So if you recall, when we tested these different LT4 blower lids, we tested on a bolt-on ZL1. This time around, Lid Test 2.0 is gonna be done on a heads cam max effort ported blower ZL1 1LE that I happen to own. So why Lid Test 2.0? Why put out another version of an episode we've already done? Well, we got a lot of feedback from you guys in the first video. A lot of people asking, well, what if I put this lid on this? What if I put this lid on that? Hey, I've got a ported supercharger and I've got a head cam set up in E85. What if I? So we said, you know what? Let's get another ZL1 in here, one that's got a little bit more modifications done to it, and we'll test the same lids. So we feel like we'll be able to compare our results from lid test number 1 to this lid test on a vehicle that's just got more modifications, that's just got more horsepower, and see if there's a difference between a bolt-on ZL1 and a head cam ported blower ZL1. So guys, this video is sponsored by RACETRACKPRINTS.com. I don't know if you heard or not, but Florida High Performance and the RPM group were rallying behind Palm Beach International Raceway and actually bringing that racetrack back. RaceTrackPrints.com caught word of this and said, man, we'd like to be involved. What can we do? I said, I'll tell you what, I'd love for you guys to make us a beautiful rendering of Palm Beach International Raceway. So it's exactly what they did. They actually were gracious enough not only to do that, but they sent us a few other prints as well, which we're proudly going to display here at our shop. We've got the box, we're going to open it up. I'm super excited. I've seen these things online. Can't wait to see them in person. So here we go. Wow, killer. Exceptional packaging, I must say. Look at that. Palm Beach International Raceway. It looks like a daytime print there. Get the drag strip, the road course. Man, that is awesome. Look at that down here. Latitude, longitude, status closed. Yeah, for now. That's awesome, man. Got Nürburgring, amazing. Looks like a nighttime shot of that. What else did they send us in here? Sebring. Very nice, very nice. Paying homage to all the tracks in Florida, Sebring. Nice daytime shot of that. I gotta tell you guys, these are super impressive. They're a nice size, they're very lightweight. Seem like they'd be easy to hang up. And as I said, they do have daytime and nighttime versions, which is really, really cool. Again, really, really good packaging here. Things wrapped up. Laguna Seca, probably one of my favorite road courses. Not only a very cool name, but very, very famous road course. This is a nighttime print. Notice down here, Andretti's hairpin, that's really cool. So not only is it a kind of an aerial view of the actual track itself, but they actually notate where the turns are. Rahal Straight, you know, the famous turns and straights at this track. Again, specs down here, status active. So guys, thank you so much for sending these. We're proudly gonna display these here at the shop on a wall over here. So guys, if you're looking for one of your own prints, go to RaceTrackPrints.com. If there's a track that you don't see on their website, you can certainly contact them and request it. And also, if you wanna get a discount, use promo code FLHP, click the link below, make sure you save some money and help these guys out, help them grow their business. I'm telling you right now, an awesome gift, a great man cave edition. So check them out, RaceTrackPrints.com. We wanna thank them again for their support. All right, guys, before we get started on Lid Test 2.0, do yourselves a favor, click the link in the corner, and go watch the first episode of this test. I go over the lids that you see here in front of me, with the exception of one, this beautiful billet lid from 2 High PSI. So if you're looking for pricing, specs, weight, dimensions, things like that, I talk about all of that on these other lids in version 1. I'm not gonna do that for the sake of time and getting to the point, which I know all you guys like me to do. I'm gonna get right into this newest lid that we will be testing. I want to talk a little bit about it. It's from 2 High PSI. Those guys are awesome. We use a lot of their products and a lot of the other vehicles that we build here. They have port injection systems, they have port injection controllers, they have billet valve covers, and the new billet LT4 Supercharger lid is no exception. Now, what do I like about this particular lid? Well, I like the company. Let's talk about 2 High PSI. You're talking about over 70 years combined experience in the Eaton Supercharger platform, right? Magnuson and things like that. So they're not just out there making a random part. They're saying, hey, what do we know about this? Where can we make improvements? And they've put that into this lid. The lid just comes in under 10 pounds, 9 pounds, 15 ounce. So sort of like the LMP lid, it is one of the heavier lids. It's a solid billet piece, 6061 alloy. So really solid, really good looking part. They retail for $1,200. And what I like about these too is you can get custom colors. You can have different things engraved on the badges. So just a really, really cool piece. They offer custom options, which is always a plus. It's proudly made in the USA, which is a huge plus to us. And with regard to efficiency and comparing it to the factory lid, 20% more efficient than the Gen 1 shorter LT4 lid that you find like the 15, 16 Z06s, and 15% more efficient than the Gen 2 style lids, which you'd find, say, on the ZL1s or CTSVs, a little bit taller. So that's a nice gain, that's a nice bump over stock, and of course we will see today when we test it exactly what this lid does. And as a reminder, in addition to the 2 high PSI lid, we will also be testing the lid from MPI, DSX Tuning, Late Model Performance, and Weapon X. These are very popular lids. There are some other lids that have come out. Unfortunately, we don't have them in front of us. We didn't get them in time, but we will test those in another episode. I'll be putting more information out on those lids at a later time. All right, so let's talk about a little bit how the test is gonna go. I am in the front seat of Bad Punkin ZL1. As a reminder of the modifications done to this car, this is a stock bottom end LT4, has our head cam package on it. It does have a race port from Joker's Performance, has a factory ZL1 LT4 lid on it right now. It is on 93. We did get on the horn with DD Tech, who is our tuner, Derek Dunbar, just to make sure that the tune and everything's nice and crispy, which it is. We will get a nice baseline pull here, and then we will compare our gains, losses, whatever, moving forward off of that baseline. The best, most consistent results, I'm gonna make sure that every pull is done at 180 degrees engine coolant temp. I'm also gonna make sure that my manifold air temps are right around the same 120 degrees or so, right? We don't want them too hot, we don't want them too cold. And we will be logging things like air fuel, timing. We will obviously log horsepower and torque on our DynoJet software here. So we want to be as consistent as we possibly can. We realize in the real world things may vary, but for the sake of testing these lids and for the sake of consistency and putting the best information out we can, we will make sure that those parameters are the same from lid to lid to lid. All right, guys, well, that concludes Lid Test 2.0. Results are as I expected. We'll get right into it. I know everybody's been waiting. Again, let's go over the mods real quick. 2019 ZL1 1LE Bad Punkin. It is a manual transmission car. It's got a Rotofab Big Gulp, a K-Tech 103 throttle body. It is a race port from Joker's. It has ported LT4 cylinder heads from late model engines, as well as our custom LT4 cam. That's really about it in bolt-ons. It's on 93 octane. Pulley configuration right now is making about 16 pounds of boost. So let's talk about the baseline. Baseline was 16 pounds of boost. Power was 765, 801. So just over 800 foot-pounds of torque, 765 horsepower. That's a pretty solid baseline for this car. It's about what it makes on 93. Keep in mind, we are not paid for or sponsored by any of these vendors who make these products. We have gone out on our own, purchased these products, and we are testing them, and we're just giving you facts. So, okay, so I'm not here to tell you which one's better or worse or whatever. I'm just here to tell you what they did or did not do on the dyno, and that's a fact. All right, so we'll get right into it. First lid we tested was the MPI lid, just a pretty much standard billet lid. The results were not bad, 771, 801. So same torque as our baseline, but horsepower was a bit higher. So 771 from 765. So So not bad. It was actually the best lid of the day, believe it or not. So not too shabby. Next lid we tested was the Too High PSI lid. In my opinion, probably the best looking lid of the day. It's very, very comparable to the LMP lid as far as height and thickness and weight and all that stuff goes. Didn't really get much out of the lid horsepower and torque wise. Wound up with 766 wheel horsepower and 797 foot-pounds of torque. So just a hair less torque and just a hair more horsepower than our baseline. Again, guys, this test was conducted with the same engine coolant temps and the same manifold air temps. We allowed each vehicle to cool down the same amount of time between runs. So as far as testing is concerned, it was very, very, very consistent from pull to pull to pull. The one thing I did learn in this video, I tell you, is this car is extremely consistent. No matter what lid was on it, no matter what we were doing on this thing, this car makes pretty much the same horsepower and torque over and over and over and over and over again. So if that's any testament to the build quality in this car, I'm pretty proud of that. So again, the Too High PSI lid, not much over the baseline, but just a really, really nice product, if anything, and it didn't disappoint. Next lid was the DSX tuning lid. Now, if you recall in video number 1, the DSX lid did the best overall. In this particular test, it did 768 wheel horsepower, 802 foot-pounds of torque. So we picked up a pound of torque and just a couple of horsepower over stock. Again, these results are very, very similar to our baseline test, and I wouldn't really consider, 5 or 6 horsepower in either direction any big deal, or torque any big deal. On a dyno, you're gonna get some variations in power, but for the most part, these are all pretty consistent. Next lid was the LMP lid. Again, a really nice product. Again, nice and heavy, nice tall lid. Power was 769 wheel horsepower, 801 foot-pounds of torque. Again, just a couple of horsepower over stock. Nothing more to report there. Good looking product. Really nothing bad to say about it. And then last but not least was the Weapon X lid. The Weapon X lid is probably the most basic lid of all that we tested. Bolted it on, made 769 wheel horsepower and 801 foot-pounds of torque, so exactly the same as the LMP to the dot. What do I take away from this? Well, again, I'm not here to tell you which one is better, which one is worse. I'm just a guy that builds late model GM vehicles. I felt compelled to go out and test these products myself on my personal vehicle. I wasn't expecting them to do anything crazy. Again, maybe depending on the setup, depending on the fuel, depending on the temperature outside, and so on and so forth, you might see different results, different parts of the country or the world. I'd be really interested to hear what you guys have to say if you've tested these lids or you run these lids in your own car and what you've experienced and what you've made. But I'm here to tell you, for the most part, other than them looking much better aesthetically speaking, that stock Gen 2 lid, on that taller LT4 lid that comes on the Camaros and the Vets and stuff's pretty good, man. The GM really did a good job overall in designing that lid. It supports the type of power that we're making, and putting these aftermarket lids on really didn't give us much more over that lid. So if you like the duration of this video, if you want to see more tests like this, please reach out, let me know. If you're a manufacturer or vendor and you would like me to independently test your product, hit me up, email me, call me, I'll test it. All right, I've got the facility, I've got the dyno, I've got the car, I've got the know-how, I've got the experience, I've got the following. All right, this might be a good opportunity for you to send me your product so I can test it and show the masses whether it works or doesn't work, right? All right, so please, again, like, comment, share the video, guys. I appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed the content. We will see you next time here at the Florida High Performance YouTube channel. Peace.